stunning development in the race for the White House just 4 months out from Election Day. In an historic first, President Joe Biden bowed out of his bid for a second term today. This following growing calls for the 81-year-old Democrat to step aside and make way for a new candidate. Tonight, we have two political strategists in studio to help us digest the news, break it all down for us. On the Democratic side, Javier Murillo, and former Democratic National Committee member. Thank you for being here, Javier. And on the Republican side, Amy Koch, the former Majority Leader of the Minnesota Senate. Thank you for being here as well.
So let's get right into this. With as firm as Biden was that he was going to continue to run, how surprised were you about today's announcement that he will step aside?
Well, I was not surprised. You could feel it coming in the air for the last, really, I mean, since the debate. I felt like there was no other option, but of course it really ramped up, and and with the announcement of COVID, that just seemed to go on so long. I thought, oh, something's up here, something's gearing to happen.
Yeah, I think there was my experience of it, and every Democrat I've talked to today, and people reaching out to me on their own, was relief. Was surprised in the sense that people were so anxious, like, is this going to happen? Because Democrats feel very good when it comes to issues, but we knew that the question voters were going to go into the booth thinking about was, can he do the job? And that's not a great question for people to be thinking about. But if we talk about the issues, then people are more excited about that. So yeah, I think not surprised, but enormous relief.
And I think it's interesting. Several people had said that she's sort of started to sound a little more presidential over the last few days. I'm guessing you think she'll probably continue that tone going forward, and then some. Do you think she can sort of rise up enough to?
Yeah, I think, and ever since the Dobbs decision, she has been the administration's point person on abortion rights and reproductive care generally, and so has been more visible. I've been a critic of the administration for not having highlighted her more in the early years. Remember that 4 years ago, Joe Biden said he was going to be a transition candidate, like transition to a new generation of leadership. That's how he talked about it when he named her his running mate. So I think like she has more visibility now, which she frankly should have had sooner.
Mm-hmm. So now all the questions that follow after an announcement like this, who would you predict would get the vice presidential nod if Harris is the nominee?
Well, you have to look at the swing states where they're kind of must-wins for the Democrats. So Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin's going to be a problem, but no one's really coming out from Wisconsin. And so you're hearing Shapiro from Pennsylvania. You're hearing maybe Mark Kelly from Arizona. My money is on Cooper from North Carolina, so we'll see about that. But either way, I think it's going to happen very, very quickly, because this is going to be really like, this is the ticket, I think, right away, well before the convention in a month. And plus, frankly, Democrats need to sort of gather some momentum, because right now Donald Trump has been a freight train rolling since the debate with momentum. And so I think that just to keep this going, Democrats are going to announce fairly quickly.
Yeah, and of course, they're in the mix. Our own Governor Walz, he's been talked about, and I think he'd be a great candidate, a great contrast there. I think another name that I've heard and that I think has a really good shot is Pete Buttigieg, who has been a very visible part of the administration, and he's a really effective messenger. He's constantly on Fox News, not friendly territory, and does really well. And so
he was on Bill Maher, did a fantastic job just over this weekend.
And in running for president in 2020 too, I mean, he really got a lot of attention. There's Mayor Pete.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And Amy, I'll ask you, Trump has said, oh, easy peasy, I can beat Kamala Harris. Is it going to be easy? Is this good news or bad news for the Trump campaign?
I mean, I think ultimately, obviously, especially since the debate, they would want to run against Joe Biden. There's no question in my mind that a switch up. But again, so much momentum on the Trump side, going from the debate where he won to surviving an assassination attempt, to the Republican National Convention, the announcement as VP. I mean, Trump has been really running away with this. This will blunt that momentum a bit, but it is definitely Vice President Harris's job now to sort of do catch up with Trump.
But what we've seen today is like donations into the campaign is just actually, I think, it broke records. For I just heard the number 47 million coming in, and I can just say that in my day job I work with grassroots groups across the country. So talk to folks and just been seeing what's going on the ground and hearing from organizers on doors today saying the difference between yesterday and today is just dramatic. I think Democrats are really excited.
And then quickly, do you think President Biden should resign?
I don't think he should resign. I think he serves out his term.
In fact, what I thought when the assassination attempt had occurred, I thought this is all the more reason we need a president who's focused on being president, and then someone else who's the candidate. So that's what he said, and I think that's the right thing for the country as well.
And real quick, this might be a little odd, but will Biden join the campaign? Will he help campaign for her?
I wouldn't be surprised if we find him endorsing her at the convention or doing something. I think that as part of this negotiation, having his vice president step in was a part of that negotiation.
I think that the convention can now be a celebration both of his legacy and of reintroducing the country to Kamala Harris. And so I think Democrats are going to be really, really excited, and everyone's going to be watching the convention this time around.
Oh, for sure.
You can feel the relief on the Democrat side.
It's such an interesting conversation, right? And so many things, will be figured out in the process because this is historic to have a nominee step aside.
And as Amy, as you said a little while ago, there's more surprises to come. You just know it.
Never has a race felt so inevitable, and like anything is going to happen at any moment.
I know, from now to November.
They're packing as much into this episode as possible.
It is a book or a movie or something coming up. All right. Thanks to both of you for being with us.
We appreciate it so much.
Thanks for having us.